What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 144. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Power Rangers. So what did I think of Power Rangers? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I just enjoyed it a lot. I I had no idea about anything about the Power Rangers really. Like I saw bits in here there, but I really had no knowledge of it. So when I went to see the movie last year, I was impressed by it because I had no real knowledge of the original movies. But going to see it in theaters, I was surprised. I was actually enjoying it a lot. It was really good, despite what people said about it, because those people who had opinions about it probably people who had watched the original movies and the original TV shows, and I had not. So it was all new to me, and so I really liked this movie. It was really well done. It was really well done, and I also like the fact that they used the Power Rangers theme in there, the Go Go Power Rangers. Again, I hadn't seen the original movies. I just saw like little bits here and there, like on the advertising, all that stuff, and the commercials, and I liked the fact that they used the original theme song because that's cool. You know, even if I haven't seen the original stuff, the fact that they put that in there was really cool because it's important to have original stuff in there, even if it's like a piece of music. That's really important. So I really enjoyed it, but there were still some things I didn't enjoy about it. There were things that I really thought that were like I just didn't like them. There were some things about the movie in terms of the context that I just didn't like at all. Like at the beginning of the movie, there wasn't a whole lot of context given to a couple of the scenes. Like when Jason is helping his friend like help with Beefcake with their bull, where his friend thinks it's actually a cow and ends up milking it, or thinks he milks it, which ends up making the bull go berserk. And then Jason gets an accident later. I don't know why he would do that. Like why would like. So first of all, what's wrong with a bull anyway? And second of all, I don't know why he would do that. And I just didn't understand that. And then the next thing that happened was that Kimberly, this girl that has a tension with Jason and Billy, she decides to cut her hair. She goes to ladies' room. Her friends basically just decided to dump her. You know, don't want to be friends with her. And suddenly she just cuts her hair. I didn't understand that. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, she was already beautiful enough. Why would she decide to cut her hair? Which brings me to another point: the fact that I really like the two girls in the movie because like, I really liked them. They were really good. Like Kimberly and Trini, they were just really pretty girls. Simple as that. They were just beautiful, very beautiful. Even without makeup, they just beautiful. I didn't like some of the songs that were played. I just didn't. I mean, there were some. They had a great soundtrack overall, but I just didn't like the songs. A lot of the rock music that was played in the movie, I just didn't enjoy. It just wasn't really my thing. You know, I didn't like it. And this movie has an autistic character, which is very interesting because I, of course, have autism myself. And Billy, the African kid, he has autism. He is on the spectrum, and it's pretty obvious because he talks to himself and he says random things at random times. It's a bit awkward sometimes for him. But I like the fact that they did that. I like the fact that they had someone on the spectrum because that's important. Because again, I feel like this movie shows a lot of diversity with the characters because all the actors that play the Rangers were all from different countries. You have Dacre, the actor who plays Jason. He is from Australia. You have Naomi, the actress who plays Kimberly. She's British, and those actors play their characters with American accents. You can't really tell. I mean, I couldn't tell myself. And then you have the girl who played Trini. She's Mexican. I mean, at least her parents are. I mean, she's American, but she has that descent. I'm pretty sure she's of Mexican descent. And then you have Billy, who's African, and then you have Zach, who is Japanese. Which I like the fact that they had diversity in the movie. It was very important to have people from different, races and different, countries. I like that. That was very cool. It's very important to have that. And this may have to do with their powers, but I wasn't sure and I was kind of confused. There's an underwater scene in the movie where they're basically discovering the ship for the first time, the ship where they can become rangers, and they're underwater, and it's like, how are they breathing? It's like, aren't they drowning? And I guess there's no really context for that either, but I'm guessing it would probably have to do with the fact that they have the power to breathe underwater. I mean, I don't know, but it's possible. That's one of the reasons. It's very possible that was probably what happened, but I'm not sure. And the spaceship that they discover, where they become rangers, they find out they're rangers. It looks a lot like one of the ships from Halo, like a Covenant ship, like inside of a Covenant ship. I find that really cool. I always like the sci-fi ships, and it was cool to see that. Especially in this movie, it was very cool because it definitely reminded me of something out of Halo, something out of a science fiction movie that has to do with aliens or whatever. I found that really cool. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And another thing I really liked about the movie was the visual effects. I thought they were really cool. I thought they were really well done. This movie again didn't receive well, but even then, I really enjoyed the visuals. I thought the visuals were very cool. The effects were good. The special effects were good. All that stuff. The powers, all of it was really well done, and I really liked it. Especially the basically the morphing grid. That was cool. That was very cool. That was a very cool effect. I like that. And one character that I was confused about. I couldn't tell. I mean, I was like, oh, that's Patton Oswalt, definitely. When I saw the movie for the first time in theaters, I'm like, that's Patton Oswalt. That's Alpha 5, who is voiced by Bill Hader in the movie. Now, I didn't know that. I was certain that it was Patton Oswalt. He's an actor who's known for Agents of Shield, that kind of thing, and I was like, he's that's Patton Oswalt, right? And it turns out it was actually Bill Hader. I was completely off, but they have very similar voices. If you think about it, their voices are very similar. So they could be voicing two different characters in the same room, and you really could tell them apart. They have that. It's not some of those actors that just have really similar voices. It's crazy, but I still really liked Alpha 5. It was a very fun character. And one thing about the movie that I also found was cool was the fact that we know what color the Rangers are before they morph, putting together their suits. If you pay attention to the movie, you'll notice the color of their shirts. You have Jason, who's a red shirt, and it has a logo on it. They all have logos on it, but the shirts themselves are colored based off of their Ranger colors. And you have Kimberly with a pink shirt, you have Billy with a blue shirt, you have Zach with a black shirt. I'm pretty sure. I mean, he almost have a jacket on, and then you have Trini, who has a yellow shirt on, and then Billy with a blue shirt. So all have different shirts on that are reminiscent of their Ranger colors, which I think is really cool. They're not all the color of the rainbow, but I still really like the fact that they kind of foreshadowed that, like to tell you, oh yeah, but by the way, guess what the colors they are based off the shirts. It's pretty cool. And usually in every superhero movie, there's always a training montage, and I mean not every superhero movie, but quite often there was a training montage. They were trying to, because they had to train. Now, in fact, it was it's one of the things that they usually have some kind of training montage in a movie like this, and I wasn't surprised. I'm like, yep, training montage. What do you expect? How else are the heroes going to train? And I love the Zords. They definitely reminded me of like Transformers or Dinobots from like Transformers 4. They were awesome. Although the fact that Zach took one right after Alpha 5 said they're not ready, it was kind of confusing. It's like, what? Did you just like? I guess I would have wanted to try them out. I guess I wanted to like have fun, but it was like a bad idea to do that. But even then, I still thought the Zords were awesome. They were really cool, and they definitely reminded me of the Dinobots from Transformers 4, and they were all really really awesome, and they have better CGI than Transformers themselves from the movies. It's way better. And when Billy morphs for the first time, it's actually an emotional stress because he doesn't like the fact that his friends are fighting, and that's the only way he was able to transform before. So the reason why they were able to transform in the end is because they're all under emotional stress. That's a big thing about the movie. And Billy morphs in this movie because he's under emotional stress, which I found was really interesting because he has autism, so he gets I guess he gets triggered. I guess it was actually a slow motion scene where he didn't realize he actually is morphing, and it's crazy because he's under emotional stress. So that's like probably one of the reasons why they are able to morph in the end. And as the Rangers continue trying to morph, they get to know each other more. That's like the best way to do it, is get to know each other more. So they find out they all have struggles. They have emotional struggles. Zach's mom could die. Trini's having boyfriend and or girlfriend trouble. She might be bisexual. Who knows? Kimberly, she's had an issue with her friends, and everyone just has their issues. Obviously Billy has autism. It's obvious, but just in general, I thought that was the best way to really work, to really become a team, is by getting to know each other really well, and that's the best way to do it. So I thought that was good, the fact that they really got to know each other, especially over that campfire. That was really important. And Rita was actually the first female villain in a superhero movie like this one. I don't know if there was a female villain before. There have been female side villains like in X-Men 2. There was a character that Wolverine had to face off against, and that was female. But in this movie, it was actually the first time I've seen a movie like this with a female villain on it, which is very cool. She's played by Elizabeth Banks. She has a great performance overall, but I found that she was very scary. She was very weird. She was very creepy, and the fact and the end, and the fact that she actually kills Billy, and then the Rangers, they take Billy, who's dead, to the ship where apparently Zordon, who is basically their mentor, he brings Bill back to life because he says that instead of coming back through the morphing grid because they're going to open apparently, that he is going to bring Billy back, which I found was really cool. That was a really amazing part about the fact that he sacrificed his own presence to actually let Billy come back, which is very important because I think he knows that it was a very vital part of the team. So that was really fun. It was a really emotional part because also just generally they were able to morph because of that. The fact that they were able to that Billy dies for real, and then he comes back. They morph, yeah, they totally the morph. It took them a while, but like I think it was because they had a they didn't really know each other that well, and then they didn't really know you know how to trust each other. So that was really important. And one of the really cool things about the movie is that Bumblebee, or at least the car that Bumblebee transforms as in the original Transformers movie, not the new one, not the prequel movie, but the originals. That car is featured in the movie, very briefly, but it's featured in the movie, and I thought that was supposed to be like a little cameo Easter egg because this movie is very much like Transformers. It has the same kind of style to it, not the same exact thing, no, but it's very similar to it because the Zords are CGI, very cool CGI, very good CGI, way better than the Transformers themselves. But also the Hive Zords, after they basically almost die, they transform into a one Megazord, which I think was awesome. I thought that was really cool. I mean, again, I never saw the originals, so I don't know what what kind of things they were able to use as their powers, and if Zords were even a thing back then. But I was really surprised. I was really cool that obviously it was a bait. It was basically Optimus Prime, except with in a Power Rangers movie. Not exactly Optimus Prime, no, but it's same idea, same kind of. It kind of had that same style to it, which I found really cool. And in fact, that was a the CG was better than the Transformers movies, and overall it was very good. I thought those were really awesome. I really liked the Megalord. That was so cool. It was awesome. And one of the biggest issues about the movie that the critics had issues with was the product placement. Now, I overall didn't really think it was a bad thing that because again, product placement is like in every Transformers movie, and also it had a big thing in Man of Steel. I mean, again, product placement is actually a pretty big deal because it happens a lot in movies. And it's a lot of big budget movies where product placement happens a lot, and it's not a good thing. But in this way, it was only one business, and that was Krispy Kreme. And it was in the movie, and people had issues with it, but I didn't really think it was all that bad. I thought it was actually pretty funny, actually, because Rita, the villain, she eats a donut in Krispy Kreme. That's like the special place where the crystal is, and I didn't really mind it, really. I thought it was actually quite funny. In fact, the Krispy Kreme are one of the best donut shops in the world. I'm not kidding. They're so good that Rita actually has a donut. That was just funny. Overall, it kind of added some comedy to the movie, which I found was really fun. And like I said before, the soundtrack was really good. I also liked the fact that the soundtrack had a kind of 80s music in it. It had 80s style techno music, which I found was really good. I mean, and they also had like I mentioned before, they had the Power Rangers theme, which I think was awesome. If you know how Thor Ragnarok uses the same kind of thing where they use kind of 80s style music, same idea. And I think it might have been the same music too, which I found was really well. I love that kind of music. It's awesome. It's awesome music. And again, like I mentioned before, with not having seen the original stuff, I've seen what the Power Rangers usually look like in the original movies and the original television shows. It's like from the best I've seen of it. And I guess the new suits are cooler. They look awesome. I mean, they're so cool. And one thing about the suits that I really like is the fact that they actually open up. They're like the masks that peel up and you can actually see their faces, which I found was really cool. But also, the suits themselves kind of remind me of Iron Man and a little bit of the Flash. More like Iron Man, actually. When I'm thinking of the Flash, I mean like the mask itself. But when I think of them as Iron Man, I think it's because it kind of looks like the nanotech that Iron Man uses in Infinity War. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. It's cool. I like the suits in this movie. They're really cool. They're because the fact that it's a reboot, they wanted to modernize the suit, which I find was fine. I enjoyed that. That was a really cool idea. And like I said before, I had no knowledge of the Power Rangers movies before, even the TV shows, none of that. So when I went on this movie, I just went in blind. Kind of like with Suicide Squad, I didn't know anything about the comics. Went in blind and enjoyed that movie. This movie, same thing. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And last but not least, before I wrap this up, I wanted to talk about the post-credit scene in this movie, which sets up for a sequel, which could happen actually, and that is Tommy Oliver, who apparently was in the original team. He was the sixth member. He was the Green Ranger, and he's in the very end of the movie in a post-credit scene as a new member of the detention. and he's supposed to be in the sequel. Now, the movie didn't perform really well at the box office. It was a disappointment. But because of the DVD sales and all that stuff, there's a possibility that a Power Rangers 2 could happen. I would love a sequel to happen, because this movie was great, it was awesome. And the sequel might not happen at Lionsgate, but it possibly could happen at Hasbro, which I mentioned before, because Hasbro is the people behind Transformers. They made the Transformers movies, and because again, this movie had a very much sense of Transformers in it, that style of Transformers in it. So I'm not really surprised that they announced that. So when that's coming, probably like 2020, I would say, probably going into production if they can pull a sequel off like this. They're probably gonna go into production next year for a 2020 release. So that's probably gonna be awesome. So I'm looking forward to the sequel very much so, and overall, I just thought it was amazing. This movie was great. I really had no issues with it. It was really good, and had some great action sequences, great casting, great villain. A really strong villain, very scary villain. I thought was amazing, and overall it was really fun to watch. This movie was great. It was just terrific. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna give this movie a. Well, I didn't really have any issues with it really, but because there was some context issues in the movie, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, which actually is pretty good, you know, because again, I mentioned the things that I had issues with, but honestly, it's not even that bad of a movie. It's really good, and I really liked it. It was fantastic. So I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate your support. And if you're to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as well as other great content. Also, make sure to click that bell to enable alerts so you don't miss any of my uploads. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.